Welcome to New Africa. Now, what's trending in Uganda? Number one trending in Uganda right now. One thing for sure, the election is ongoing. This is the day. Ugandans are on the line trying to change the fate of the country, and some are trying to retain the country how it is or how it was. Information reaching my table is that there is some delays, worldwide delays. Of course, there's no internet in Uganda, so it is hard. It is hard, but we are just getting information as it is. And once we get information, we'll be sending live to you.
At Tunga polling station, which is in Kajara constituency, in Tungamo district, the voting materials have not arrived. What surprises me, though, information that we just got from one of the journalists who was in the dispatch room at the district, the materials for Kajara constituency were dispatched at 4:30 a.m. this morning. It takes 30 minutes drive from Tungamo to Rwashamere sub-county, to Rwashamere county headquarters, and about 15 minutes from the sub-county headquarters. So 6 hours, in 6 hours, certainly those materials should have arrived at the polling station here. However, I understand that in many of the polling stations in this constituency, materials haven't arrived there either. It's not far from Ntungamo or the sub-counties. The farthest one would be about 45 minutes drive. So I'm surprised why it would take 6 hours before they arrive. We'll wait and see.
Thank you very much, Tracy, for that elaborative preamble. And indeed, who of these are going to take on the mantle to sit in Entebbe at State House? And that is quite a competitive race. But amidst all this competition, right from the presidential race to the parliamentary race, there are numbers that you cannot do away without. And these are numbers that matter. One electoral seat when it comes to president. And we have 8 presidential candidates. And when we talk about electoral areas, and those are 353, but 2,025 have been nominated for those electoral seats. And when it comes to electoral areas, 146 for district and city chairperson, 521 of those have been nominated. When it comes to elected councillors for district, 2,241, but 6,000, that's almost triple, have been nominated. When it comes to district city female councillor for older persons, 146, but 178 have been nominated. District city female PWD councillors, 146 still, but 223 have been nominated. 146 for district female youth councillors, and that's electoral areas, but number of candidates nominated, that's almost double, 268. And when it comes to male councillors for older persons, 146 still, but 250 of those have been nominated, slightly above average from the previous one. 146 for PWDs for male, but 318 people have been nominated. Male youth councillor at the district level, 146, but 204 candidates have been nominated to compete in that race. District women councillors, 1,738 and 248 right there. 146 for the district representing the workers of the councillors, but 302 have been nominated. And it comes to female councillor representing the workers, 146, but the number of candidates nominated, 3,747. Quite a competitive race right
now. At the center of it all, in today's election, it is Yoweri Museveni. Yoweri Museveni is a man who has ruled Uganda since 1986. Think about that. Some Ugandans were born. Some Ugandans were born, grown up, had children, and only ever knew one president. So they want change. They want change. And opposing Yoweri Museveni is Bobi Wine. Bobi Wine is a former musician who became the voice of the frustrated, who became the voice of the youth, who became the voice of unemployed, who became the voice of those ignored, you know? And this election is not just about ballots. It's about time. It's about generation. It's about whether Uganda belongs to the past or Uganda belongs to the future. Now, let me talk about the internet shutdown, because that is trending again. Uganda is in blackout. Some parts of Uganda, there's no internet, total blackout, you know, because internet is where truth lives, you know, there's a internet is where life matters. Life lies there. And the Ugandan government claims the shutdown is about security and about misinformation. But being real, I will say, if misinformation was the concern of Uganda, why do you shut down everything? Why block journalists? Why do you silence citizens trying to document polling stations or polling what's going on in polling station? So the internet was shut down because information is power and the government fear that information. Just a phone camera is more dangerous than a corrupt system, than a weapon, okay? I'll repeat that. A phone camera is more dangerous to a corrupt system than a bullet, than a weapon, you know? Because a live stream can expose lies in real time. A tweet can travel faster than propaganda. So what they did? They cut off lights. And whenever government cuts off lights, whenever government blocks information or communication during election, you know what it is. They are hiding something. But what is that something? Okay? Now, Africans were paying attention on this election, and this is not just a Ugandan issue. What happens in Uganda set a precedent for Africa. If leaders learn that you can shut down the internet, militarize elections, and still accepted internationally, that's somehow, and then this model spreads. Today it's Uganda, tomorrow it's somewhere else. Africa cannot keep pretending that stability means permanent ruler. There is no dignity in election where fear replaces hope. People must have choices, must have to choose who they want. And we must respect their choices. And Uganda, we are expecting the government to respect their choices. But how can you respect people's choices when you have shut down the internet? Okay? Now, the uncomfortable truth for the system is that Uganda is young. And the majority of Uganda is under 30 years. They are connected, they are educated, they are globally aware. So, when Ugandans are on the internet, they compare their lives to Kenyans. They compare their life to Ghanaians, to Africa, to the diaspora, you know? And they ask dangerous questions to the system, the questions that the systems avoid. They are asking, why are we still struggling? Why are we still have the same man in power? Why does voting feels like a threat? And this is why Bobby Wines scare the system. Not because he is perfect, but because he represents change. Okay? Even if he loses, even if Bobby Wine loses, the idea he carries cannot be arrested. When you look at the images, you see soldiers at polling stations, you see armored vehicles in neighborhoods, opposition supporters harassed. Just ask yourself, if the people truly supported the system, why are there so many guns around? What are they protecting? What are they hiding? What do they fear? Okay, let me address one hypocrisy. Western governments love to talk about democracy until it's inconvenient. You know, they issue statement, they say they are concerned, and then they move on. Okay, and this is because Uganda is strategically located. Uganda is useful militant. Uganda is politically convenient. So Ugandans pay the price for global hypocrisy. Now, Africa must build its own standards. That's why we are looking so much what's happening in Tanzania, and we are looking what happens or what is happening in Uganda. And this will shape how Africa is. You know, to Ugandans watching these videos, I see you, I see your patience, I see your courage, and I see your frustrations. History is slow, but it is honest. Every system that refuses to evolve eventually collapses under its own weight. Whether it happens today, whether it happens tomorrow, or years from now, change is not optional. Change is inevitable. Uganda's election right now is trending not because it is inspiring, but because it is revealing. It reveals fear is at the top, courage at the bottom, and a continent still fighting for true self-determination. I'm praying for Uganda to hold peaceful election, and I hope that we will accept all outcomes that come. Okay? Let's meet to another update. Peace out.